accent?
I'm originally from New York. So,
Do you have a Southern Bronx drawl?
something like
Okay, it has started officially. Woohoo! And oh, hooray! Thank you for all those that are efficient, and we can see you in the chat. When you see me look in one direction, I am not able to run the what do I call it? The control room for video and voice, and see a chat. I get either or, so I have you up as a chat group on the other side. I love it, which is funny because it shows my picture, and it's like, I don't know, an hour delayed in the talking or something. So if some of us use our hands, I'll catch it out of the side of my eye. Oh, hey, right there. Let's go ahead and mute that. Okay, it started officially. See how delayed it is? Okay. All right, welcome to the 4th week already. Holy cow! Oh, stop it! It's already the 5th week, huh? Of the push group. Time flies when you're having fun. This week is about pushing ourselves. It's about pushing ourselves through all the good and all the bad, and every single one of us somehow, some way, will have or have already experienced something in our businesses that we have really needed to push through. And this is for those of you who are shy. What can you do, or what have you done to push through that? Because it's the only way to build your business out of a hobby mode, which is there's a big difference, right? So this week we're going to be pushing ourselves physically, we're going to be pushing ourselves mentally. We're going to get out of our comfort zones, put on those stretchy pants, and we're going to hear from other hot dog consultants on what they have done when they have ran into some kind of adversity and what they did to get out of that comfort zone. What did they do to get different results? If things weren't going the way they wanted to, what did they do? Did they quit or give up? Well, we know the answer to that because they wouldn't be on the call. They would not be presenting right now if they weren't already proven success somehow, some way. So we're going to be building our relationships from what we learned, building those relationships from our circle of network and growing our relationships in our circle and that network from what we learned tonight from our climbing coaches. And let's hear how natural these guys are. So I am going to push it off to Ashton. Where are you from and how long you been with Cincy, Ashton?
I am from North Carolina, specifically kind of close to Wellness. I live outside of Greenville now.
Is Ashton sound okay to you guys? Can you get closer to your microphone maybe, Ashton? Because you just sounded like you were bouncing on a pogo stick.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Okay. You guys are super close to me. So I am from, and specifically Winterville, North Carolina is where I live now. So I've been with Cincy for 2 years and 1 month as of today, and I am a director for Joel Stent's team. So I'm pulling up my notes now. Sorry, I should have already had that pulled up. As I was thinking about what to kind of talk about,
Nope. You just went out just then. And I'm looking at the post and they couldn't hear you initially either.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So as I was kind of thinking of what to say for this talk, specifically for push and kind of pushing through those hard times, I kind of just didn't really know what to say because I kind of feel like whenever times get hard, you just kind of have to just figure it out. But then after really thinking about it, I realized that there are lots of things that we do that you really just probably once you become a director and after you've been in Cincy for a while, you go through just natural ruts and you just kind of figure things out along the way. And some things that I figured out along the way basically are that you just can't wait for your director to come up with a challenge or your like the climbing gym challenge of the week. You just can't wait for those things because you have to be self-motivated. You have to figure out what works for you and then do those things on a regular basis. And sometimes even more so, especially when things get hard. So one of the biggest things that I do is not that I necessarily have a list. As a matter of fact, I kind of just made this list of 5 things based on what I do every week. But these are 5 things that I do every single week. And I think that if everybody would make a list of 5 things that whenever you get bored or things get hard, you kind of have this thing to go back to. So my list of things that I do every week is I contact my current hostesses. So whether they're home parties or basket parties, Facebook parties, whatever kind of hostess they are, I'm contacting them either to find out how things are going or to confirm the date or to find out what theme they want for their party or to collect basket parties or whatever the case may be. But I'm contacting at least one hostess every single week. I'm also contacting, I was trying to put a kind of a number on things because I feel like I contact, whether in person or on Facebook, text, phone call, whatever. I thought probably about 20 people a week. Definitely at least one person every single day, because once you become consistent with your business, you become the Cincy lady. And so eventually things just kind of, people bring it up for you, which is good, but at least you have to speak with at least one person every single week, either about buying, hosting, or joining. And then once that becomes a habit, that becomes fairly routine and fairly easy, I would say, at least for myself. Now, sometimes talking about hosting or joining kind of gets out of your comfort zone with certain people, but if you aren't comfortable talking to people about buying Cincy, especially your repeat customers, people that you really should do some practice and start working on contacting more people more often, because it should become enjoyable, I would say. The third thing that I do every single week is I contact at least one of my team members a week. If you're a director, then you're probably contacted by other people, but then making sure that you reach out to those people that don't necessarily reach out to you. And then also, if you're not a director yet and you hope to become a director, start kind of acting like your downline are your team, even before you become a director, as far as reaching out to them, following up, and making sure that if they have any questions about promoting, or I think that's the number one question I get, is how to read the compensation plan. So once you kind of explain every step throughout that, then they should be able to kind of work things out themselves. But Chloe is queen for helping people make a plan based on whatever goal they have, and so I've kind of tried to adapt that for my team as well. And you wouldn't believe how much that helps people whenever you help them come up with a plan, because sometimes they just don't know what it takes because they've never done it before. The fourth thing I do is I post to my team page, and I keep my team motivated and updated on anything that's going on new with Cincy. Now, of course, we all directors hope that our teamies automation and news tab and all that stuff, but reality is probably most of your team is not on a daily basis. So trying to be that kind of connection person for them is very helpful. And then mailing, number 5, mailing. I just put mailing because I feel like I'm either always mailing a light bulb or a basket party or a catalog, a sample, a thank you card, an encouragement card for our team, whatever that may be. You will realize that every single week you'll be headed to the post office or at least throwing something in your mailbox. So I wish that I had more of a routine for all of those things, but since I don't have a routine work schedule, I kind of just fit all of those 5 things in wherever they happen to fall. But I definitely, without a doubt, do all 5 of those things every single week. So when things get hard, whether it be just, things are hard in life with family or friends, or things are hard with your business where you can't book parties or you can't seem to make that sales goal that you want to for the month, then try always going back to your list of 5 tasks that you can do. And if you notice, most of those 5 things are income building tasks. So making sure that those 5 things that you list on your, at least 4 of the 5 things that you list on your list of 5 are income producing tasks. So not busy work like labeling or whatever, because those things do not directly build income. So I think that's a good point. But most of you that are either a part of this or you're either a director or that's your goal, is to become a director eventually. And once you form a team, you'll realize that some of your time goes to your team, and you kind of lose yourself in trying to make your sales and trying to make sure that your team's doing well at the same time. So those list of 5 things are very important to me, because it kind of keeps me on task to the things that I need to do for myself personally, because sometimes those things get lost, and then also for making sure that your team has what they need as well. And then I think all of us are kind of going to share a time when it was very hard for us to push through. And this month and last month have really been that time for me. Not necessarily that things have been super terrible, but I have had 2 relatively close family members die within a 3-week time period, and that has just been very, as nice as I can say it, just very time consuming. I mean, obviously you're spending time with family and you're away from home and you're trying to do things with work, in any spare time that you have, you're either talking to a family member, making sure they're okay, or doing whatever needs to happen. And so just pushing through during those times and knowing that there are people that count on you, your downline and your team members, and then also trying to make sure that you're getting the things that you need done for your business as well. So during this very hard, trying time, it's been hard to kind of go along with the climbing gym cows and keep up with my team and keep up with my party hostesses and everything else that's going on. So during those times, just make sure that you just kind of do one thing at a time. And if you can't get every single thing done, the world doesn't end. So just kind of talk yourself through those situations. And then the other really important thing that I will just say, because I think Annette is going to cover that, is making sure that you have a Scentsy support person, because sometimes whenever you talk to just a normal friend who's not a Scentsy person, they do not get what you're saying and you're venting and your frustration. And so finding a Scentsy gal or guy that can kind of listen to what's going on, or you can bounce ideas off of, are a really amazing thing as well. So that's what I have.
And now we'll shoot it over to Annette.
Thank you. Chloe has heard my story before, and probably some of you on the call have heard. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, Annette, will you introduce yourself and tell us where you live, please?
Okay. I'm in North Carolina as well, but I'm in a small town called Grifton. I've been with Scentsy since 2009. I believe I was Shannon's 3rd or 4th recruit. So we've kind of grown together with Scentsy in a sense. I'm also a mother of 5 girls, and I have 15 grandchildren. So, and also a surgical nurse. Yes, I know. So, of course, I stay very, very busy. So I always hear from a lot of people that I can't do this, I don't have the time. You have to make the time. My husband, fortunately, is very, very supportive in what I do. So that right there is 50% of it. You have to have that support system. I know we're supposed to kind of talk about pushing through things. I've, in my mind, have quit several times. You know, I stay being a nurse. I work 12 to 14 hours a day. So really the only day that I have off for Scentsy is Fridays. So everybody knows that my car starts at 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm on the road all day. So, and being a director, and I have a small group, but my numbers, I'd rather have a very small group because we're very, very close. We don't do drama or anything like that. We stay kind of in touch with each other through Facebook, and my team is spread out. Most of my team in California. So here I am in North Carolina. So it's hard to keep in touch with them. So through Facebook and through webinars, and Shannon and I, we do these Tip Tuesday nights. So that helps new people coming in to kind of push forward a little bit. We're supposed to talk about times that we were going to quit. I was getting ready to go to Reunion in Las Vegas, and it was about a month before, and my husband decided 3 days before our youngest daughter was getting married to have open heart surgery. So my business just kind of was put on hold for about 6 weeks. But I was thankful because my team was so strong that they kept the business going. And I have some really good girls on my team page, so when I couldn't be up there, they would be up there. As far as pushing forward, I have a very, very small comfort zone, and anybody that knows me knows that. People think I'm just like, I can talk and talk, but I've got to be within people that I've developed a relationship with. So I try with all of my customers to develop that relationship. I'm not one to walk up to somebody and be in their face and say, oh, I'm Scentsy, you know, here I am. Have you ever tried it? Here's a sample. That's not my way. My way is branding myself. And I can give you a couple examples. Is my car. My car has my name on the back of it. Coming down Highway 11 one day, this woman was tailgating me the whole time. I was about to pop open my trunk so she could come on in, but I couldn't understand what was going on, and my phone rang. And she said, I am so sorry, I'm the crazy woman behind you, but I was trying to write down your telephone number. So having your branding will help you step out of that comfort zone as well. And she's one of my best customers now. Going to events, trying to meet new people. We do those little forms to fill out with their information. Front. I put my forms out front, introduce myself, ask them if they have a consultant, get their information, but I make them hand it back to me. Because right there and then, I'm developing that relationship. When they walk away, I make a note on the back side of it that, you know, their daughter is getting married or so-and-so. So when I call them within a few days to see how they like the products that they've had, I've got that connection. So there you go, again, pushing through. Trying to think, talking about a buddy up system. Everyone that knows me knows that Shannon Grant is my upline, but she's also like one of my best friends. And she is very business oriented, where I'm the creative person. So we get together every single Friday. I make her block out in green on her calendar, and I do the same thing on Friday afternoon. That is our time. So that's when we bounce back and forth with each other. She'll come up with an idea, I'll come up with an idea, but we bring it together so that we can push our teams to do it. So you're going to learn as you become directors, you're going to have that certain somebody that you can trust and that you can talk Scentsy to, and they totally get it. Because like Ashton was saying, if they don't do Scentsy, they don't understand it. One person that you can kind of confide in, and when you're ready to call it quits, they lift you up. When they're ready to call it quits, you lift them up. And Shannon and I do something, we do it a couple times a year, we do a prayer walk, and we pray over our teams so that they can come to us and they feel comfortable with us to send us private messages and say, can you please pray over this? And we get a whole different perspective of how we run our business when we do that. People always ask me, how do you do Scentsy and work the way that you do? I said, well, I do Scentsy part-time, but my husband will tell you that I do Scentsy full-time as well. So I'm up in my little office upstairs, but I have a planner that I use, and this basically is my other Bible, technically. It is broken down into 4 days. So 4 days out of the week, I do my Scentsy business. And it will be like Monday is customer day. Tuesday is business day. Wednesday is hostess and recruit day. And then it's broken down into 4 weeks for the month. So when I come home tonight, I know that tonight is the 4th week of the month. So tonight I'm going to check my workstation and run some hostess running the reports. I'm going to check the correspondence for both of them. So each week I have something to do. If I don't follow my planner, I'm lost because I get too involved in other things. So you've got to come up with your own system to push you through each month. So that's about what I have to offer, Annette, and I hope that helps somebody. So.
No, it's so great, Annette. And is there something that you can think of right now that is current within the last few weeks or month that you had to push through because you ran into some adversity somehow, some way?
Yeah, a couple things. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm also a missionary. So
You're also.
I do mission work. So I've traveled. Yes, ma'am. And so this is one of the reasons I do Scentsy, because it helps with my mission work. It helps pay for my mission trips. But I was at a low point. There was some personal things going on, and I went to my Bible study on that Thursday night, and I was like, Lord, I don't know what to do here. You know, I'm pulling, you can take a horse to the trough, but you can't make him drink, and trying to get people more engaged. And as a director, you will get frustrated with that at times. And so I just prayed about it. And out of nowhere, someone walked up to me and said, I've been thinking about you today. And I'm like, you have? And she was like, I'm really thinking about you, Annette. There's a mission trip coming up to Lebanon in October. So right there, bling, that means I got to get my tail moving because I've got to get that money if I decide to go to Lebanon. It's at that point of going, I'm done. And then all of a sudden God opens another door. So you just never know. Tonight, I had 4 phone calls. I put something up on my Facebook page about oils. Boom, boom, boom. I got 4 orders for oils. So you just don't know when those doors are going to open. When you think it's the worst time, something positive comes out of it. So.
Well, good for you for pushing through. Oh, that rhymed. That was accident. Thank you so much, Annette. Hooray. And now let's shoot it over to Chloe. And Chloe, tell us from where you are and how long have you been with Scentsy?
Okay, so I have been with Scentsy for 3 years. I'm also from right around the corner from Ashton and not too far from Annette. So we're kind of all in the same circle, which is another reason why I just want to say to everyone on the call, it's really cool when you see other directors that are very near to each other. So, for example, me and Shannon are 5 miles down the road from each other, by the way, and she's also a superstar director. So it does not matter, because one of the things I'm going to talk about is excuse busters. So it doesn't matter how many people sell it in your area. You can all be successful. And I think that we're a great, a great representation of that, because we're all successful. We have different groups of people that we sell to and that we share with. And so I think that's really, really cool, because I remember a few things from when I joined that I'm going to talk about in my story that I'm going to share that really kind of halted me from even joining to begin with. And thankfully, my husband signed me up and bought my kit when I was asleep, because I was working night shift at the time. And so my biggest push in my business, whenever I felt like I needed to push the most, was whenever we heard about the incentive to go to Greece. So that was in 2013. I went to convention, which convention, it launches next month. I'm so excited about it. April the 4th, I think. Yes, April the 4th. For anyone, directors, it's the 1st. Anybody else, it's the 4th. So that should be even more reason why you want to be a director, because you can register for stuff early, even though this is the first time they've done it. But they released the incentive to go to Greece, and I was really not even focused on it, because what they did was they focused on Greece, or you could also go to the Bahamas. And I remember at the time that I was like, I'm never going to be able to go to Greece. That would never happen. And so I was like, I just want to go to the Bahamas. That would be great. It was at a resort I've always wanted to go to. So the incentive went on, and the crazy part about this is you had no idea if you were in the top 100 to earn Greece. And I remember the whole time as I was trying to earn it, I just felt super anxious, and I wasn't really sure what to think about it. And I remember there's a lot of times, because you'll see once you become more involved with Scentsy, you'll become friends with people that are with Scentsy, and you know, that's great. But at the same time, you start to do this little thing, which is a big problem in your business, as you start to compare. And that's what I started to do in 2013, is I started to compare my business to other people's businesses, and it pushed me away. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to earn Greece. It's not going to happen. And the biggest thing, like Annette said, is I had someone that really held on to me and pushed me, and that was my husband. And he said, Chloe, don't compare yourself. You're on your own journey. Like, just do it. Just sell as much as you can, build your team, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, let me just say, too, in 2013, I was a superstar consultant, so I wasn't even a director yet when I went to Reunion. And so whenever I got out of Reunion, you know, it really changed my whole outlook on what Scentsy was. And so I just pushed and pushed, and when I wanted to give up, I really just thought, you know what, like, I have nothing to lose. And so that's what I really want you guys to know on the call, is that you have nothing to lose by this business. You only have gain. So you paid $99, or if you joined last July, $49 to own your own business. So you have nothing but gain. So when it comes to what you want out of this business, you really need to think about your why. You know, like Annette said, and what, you know, I know Ashton wants to one day stay at home with her future children. Whatever your why is for why you work so hard in your business is what wakes you up every day and what gets you moving. It's not a fancy challenge, and challenges are great. I love challenges. They personally motivate me, but that should not be what drives you every day to be like, you know what, I'm going to work today because there's a challenge. No, you should work your business because you have a why that is so strong that it makes you get up no matter how tired you are to work and work and work. And so long story short, I ended up earning Greece, and I couldn't believe it, because I had no idea I was even could earn it. And, you know, I just worked really, really hard. And so each of you need to know that no matter what you tell yourself, that your why is so important for, you know, why you do Scentsy and why you love it. And that was all in week 1 of the call. But the main thing, too, about, you know, knowing your why and knowing why you need to push is because if you don't know that, you're not going to work your business no matter what happens. And so one of the biggest things I'll say about working your business is sponsoring is the other thing I want to talk about. Sponsoring is so important in your business, and I know that we've talked about this in calls before, but you want to make sure that it's a lifestyle. There's a lot of YouTube videos on, you know, why sponsoring is so important, but it's the backbone, and it's the, I guess, like nucleus of your business. Sponsoring is what is going to help grow your business. You can't grow your business on your own. Now, those of you who aren't directors yet, you'll see that you can do a lot on your own on your business, but especially once you become a director, there's only such a small grasp that you can hold, because you can't create leaders to want to be directors to get you to star director. And so whenever you are thinking about sponsoring, I want you to think, even though this is an awesome month to sponsor, and we still have 2 days left. So even if you've went past your list of 30 or your list of whatever, how many you made of people to reach out to, go past that. I encourage you the next 2 days to really push through that. No matter how hard your month's been, no matter what you've been through, send a quick text, a quick Facebook message. Before I got on this call, I sent someone a Facebook message that I had never connected with. I went to nursing school with her and hadn't talked to her since then. And I said, you know what, I've just been thinking about you, and I really think you can be blessed by this business. And she wanted information on it. So I never would have known that if I wouldn't have reached out to her. So just really push through that for your business this month. You have 2 more days to make that happen. But even after March, April, May, June, July, you always want to push this business. You always want to push the opportunity, share the opportunity, because sponsoring is what is going to grow you to create that income that is going to come forever and forever. PRV is only going to happen 1 month at a time. So I just wanted to share that because I feel like it's really important for you to push through, not just with your PRV, but with sharing the opportunity of Scentsy, because sponsoring is so important. And it's not only whenever you have promotions, but sponsoring is every single day. It's all the time. You live and breathe that with your business. It's incorporated. It's something that you just naturally say whenever you share Scentsy. You naturally say, you know what, you have a basket party, you want to smell the scents, go ahead and see if you can get $200 in orders. Actually, if you get that, we might as well flip your party, because if you join, you can have these orders and get paid off of it, and you did all the work. And so the more you share that sponsoring and push through on those times, then you'll see that your team is going to build and build and build. That's all I have.
Woohoo! Okay. And I love seeing the comments, because some of them they're praising and they're yahooing when all of you guys are talking. You just probably are able to see them, and obviously you're invigorating. I took a few notes because I wanted to highlight a few things from the wisdom that you guys all shared. And Ashton was talking about when you talk to 20 people, and I may have seen it on here, Ashton, when you talk to 20 people a week, you said, I believe that's what you said your goal was. What are some of the things you do to start that conversation, or what would even one of those conversations be to who? And I don't know if Ashton is, I don't see her on the camera, but that doesn't mean you're not there. Are you still there?
Did you mute her
Yeah, she's unmuted.
video?
Oh, she's videoed.
Okay.
It doesn't show it anyway. That's okay. So I'm going to ask that, and we can. Oh, hi. So did you understand that question? When you said is it 20 people? You said you like to connect with every week. What would one of those conversations be?
One of the things that I learned is just to connect, basically, for no reason. Sometimes, just to say, like, literally, I was totally on the phone while Chloe was talking, but I promise I was listening, Chloe. I understand I have to do more than one thing at a time. But I just commented and said, congratulations on your new baby, because just staying connected with your customers, no matter whether you don't have to sell something every single time you talk to somebody. But I found that it really does help, not just your business, but your life in general. Just to connect with people on a regular basis via Facebook. It doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of effort. And they can read it whenever it's good for them, all that kind of thing. The other thing is, obviously, when the new catalog comes out, I'll try and connect with people to find out who wants a catalog, because let's be honest, it costs a little bit of money, so we're not trying to send it to people that are going to throw it in the trash. Samples, I'm always trying to let people know about the new scent of the month. So I know I have a couple black raspberry vanilla completely crazy ladies, and so whenever Country Plum came out, it kind of reminded me of the same thing, and so I let all those people know that we had a new scent that was on 10%. Come get a sample in their hand to see if they wanted it while it was on sale. Obviously, booking parties. I think the last time I was on the call, I booked my parties in advance. Hardcore, trying to book parties for April and May. I am trying party, which I'm going to host with one of my other Scentsy friends, and we're going to try and do that together so that we can connect with customers that but that we know love Scentsy. So I'm talking to people that I know to color, or who may just want to come smell the new scents and hang out. And obviously keeping in contact with people that join. Some of my people who took 8 months to join. So staying in contact with the people that have said, or you know, not that they're interested in joining tomorrow, but that they would be interested. And so staying in contact with those people is a huge deal. My first ever guy team member joined this month, and he's actually one of my husband's friends, and so I talk to him all the time. He comes over for dinner more often than I want sometimes. But just knowing that he can come to me whenever he's comfortable, because every time I see him, I don't nail Scentsy down his throat, but every time he comes in my house, he knows that it smells good, and he says it. So just any conversation really is a good conversation, but then also thinking about buying, hosting, and doing as well with those people. And then just like Chloe said, unless you ask, you never know what the answer is going to be. So get detached from your no, like we've already talked about, and just talk to people.
You know, it's so great, and thinking of the posts that we've seen in Climbing Gym and that we've seen on our team Facebook groups, is when you said you talk to 20 people a week. I am certain many of us just thought, oh my gosh, how am I possibly going to ask 20 people a week to join or buy or host or what have you? And what you said is so invaluable. When we're talking about pushing through anything, it is about the relationship first. So when you said, well, I'll just reach out and say congratulations on your baby. Well, hello, that is a great connection, and it's real. It makes the relationship's foundation so much stronger, so that when it does come time to chat it up about buying, hosting, or joining, then it's very natural. And another thing that I wanted to mention when you first spoke, Ashton, was about leader. When you were, you know, if you wanted to be a director, you know, even when you have team members now, start acting like a director. And that is the whole verbiage of leadership. In my opinion, leadership is not a title, and it's not a rank. It's an adjective. Leadership is an action. So if you want to be a leader, act like a leader. If you want to be at the top of the compensation plan, act like you already are, because then it's going to happen. I am one of those people that does not believe in that direct selling mantra, fake it till you make it. I don't believe in that, because that is faking something that you are not. So I'm not saying go into debt and buy the biggest, most expensive, brightest car and jewelry that you possibly can and brag about all these trips that you earned, but you really bought yourself in. That's faking it. You're not going to make it, because you're going to make yourself such a deep hole of debt. You're going to be so stressed out, and then you become desperate, and then we all know what happens when we're desperate and we have to have the money. Then all of a sudden, we're no longer that authentic person that's trying to build a relationship. We make that about us, not about them. And lastly, when you said, you know, don't think that you have to do all the cows and all the climbing and all the posts and all the trainings and all that right now. You will not be able to do it all. None of us do it all, but just do something. Just anything. And to reiterate on that, what Chloe said is, when you know the why that makes you high, that gets your little tushy out of bed because it warms the cockles of your heart, you're going to move mountains. But if you don't know what is going to make you move, you're going to make excuses why you don't move, don't you think? And then Annette, when you were chatting, I liked how I basically call your Fridays your dream days, because on Fridays you tend to chase your dream all day long, and look what you're doing. You're proving that you know what you're doing. Your mission is a mission. And when you know that's why you want to get out and go and move, and you've set a time, you have made a plan to work. A lot easier said than done, but a lot of us have said, we're busy, we have this, we have that. Well, who isn't? The busiest consultants are the best ones. You're the one who's responsible and respected. Otherwise, you wouldn't be busy, right? So I think it's awesome how you have made a way to make it happen, because it's so important to you. And then you said something about your door price slips. Is it the door price slips, Annette, that you said about that you follow up on?
Yes. I usually, everybody at these vendor events have their little door price slips, and they put their little box or their little can out front. I don't put my box out front. I put it behind me, because then it forces me to have that conversation with them. And then I'm developing a relationship. So, and to me, that's really important. I mean, I can sell wax to anybody, but I would rather build a relationship. Another example, and Shannon knows about this because she was with me that day. This lady came to the table, and I introduced myself, and have you heard about Scentsy? She was like, yes. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, do you have a consultant? Yes. I said, great. I said, you know, if you know your consultant, follow up with them, but I'll help you write down the names of your scents that you like. So I sat there. She kept taking those bars off that thing, and I just kept putting them to the side and putting them to the side and writing them down. And so finally she wrote out a slip. I said, you know, follow with your consultant, but I'd like your information just so I can follow up with you to see how you like what you got today. No problem. Well, before I could get to her to call her back, she called me. Carolyn, I'm from Goldsboro. I said, yes. I said, how you doing? You know, how is your daughter? She bought a buddy. And I said, did your granddaughter like the buddy? And she said, yes, but I wanted to come up and be honest with you. And I was like, what? She said, of all the vendors in that whole place, you were the first one that spoke to me. She walks with a very prominent limp, and she's ex-military. Hoorah. And so she said, and when you approached me and said you have a consultant, she said, I was just kind of thrown back that I said yes when I don't have a consultant, but I do now. And so her and I have become very, very close. So I travel to Goldsboro almost once a month just to visit with her. I took her out to eat lunch like 2 months ago. It was her birthday. But you have to develop those relationships. So by that person at that event handing you that slip, when they walk away, flip it over. Make a little note on the back of it, because you're going to get all these slips and go, who is that person? And then you're going to go, oh, that's the one that had the little boy who was sick or whatever. So you have something to reflect back onto. And that just makes that push, in a sense, for me to get out of my zone, to get out of my little comfort zone. And I have developed so many great relationships that way.
And another great thing that it sounds like you do that seems really simple is whenever you're giving away anything at any event, whether it's a home party, a trade show, a bazaar, a fundraiser, or what have you, there's nothing more powerful than reading it back to them, because I don't know how many conversations and connections we have made from asking them, oh, this is your email is .edu. Where did you teach? Or shoes. Oh my gosh, you like shoes too? Or whatever their email is. But the important thing is when you're reading it back to them right then you're going to be able to read it when you go to enter that information. If you can't read it then, you're not going to read it when you go to enter the contact information. And another thing, Annette, that you mentioned is when, you know, for those 6 months that you were down and out, your business was on hold. But here's the beautiful thing about direct selling and network marketing. Our businesses can go on hold. That doesn't mean we go out of business. So we got to keep that in mind, that just because we ran into something, I don't know, life, doesn't mean you got to quit and give up and everything's done and it's over. You can just put it on hold. It doesn't mean out the door, bye-bye. Let's see what else. Oh, another thing, because I'm reading my notes. I got so much from you guys. When you're talking about your buddy, and that's exactly why we have workout buddies in the climbing gym, is we all need them for everything, whether it's your spouse or somebody in Scentsy. I just want to iterate how simple it is to vent when things aren't going right. How hard it is for us to praise when they're going well. And I mean that in general, like in society, whenever we have great things occur to us in business with service, etc. For some reason, and the statistic is that negative, bad experiences the news travels 11 times more than when something good happens. So my advice is to you bet you want a buddy to work out with and grow with, but always bent up, never bent down. In this industry, in this profession, if you have something that you just need to get off your chest, don't say it to a team member who is within your team organization. Say it somehow, some way to an upline, because then the chances that they've been there and experienced it are a little bit better, and obviously you want it to be someone that you trust, etc. And when you, and I think this was Annette or I forget, but that's okay. When you really, really love what you do, you don't go to work a day in your life. When you're loving the job, it does become part of the culture of who you are and what you're all about. And a question that just reminded me when you were talking about it, Annette, can you post your weekly to-dos that you said you have for yourself? I think it's a planner that you said you put together, etc. Can you post those on the Climbing Gym for us?
I sure will. And it like I said, it helps a lot in the sense that it's broken down weekly. So I'm not overwhelmed. So I have, one day of the week to do maybe one or two things. So it gives me breathing space. So if I get home at 6 o'clock at night, I'm not up here until midnight, and my husband's not upset with me then. So it breaks it down and it keeps it simple. So yeah.
I think that'll be so great for us to snag ideas off of, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that. And then, Chloe, you were talking about the that whole attitude of sponsoring. At what point in your business do you think it became part of your lifestyle? And for someone who's brand new, because everybody on the Climbing Gym to this point has either sponsored at least one person or is really, really close. How would you say you got to the zone that you are in, and so many of you North and South Carolinians are in, to making sponsoring so much part of your lifestyle?
Well, I guess the biggest thing I can say is when I was a newer consultant, like 4 or 5 months in, I was so focused on parties, and I just wanted parties, and PRV, and that's so great. And the $2,000 so you can get the little extra incentive, the bonus is great. But I was not focused enough on my sponsoring, and I didn't understand at the time, being a star consultant and then a superstar consultant, the income from having a team that really is producing. And so I didn't understand, as far as, I don't know where you guys are at as far as what you want in your business that are on this call, but, if you want the lifelong income, that is going to come from sponsoring, and not just sponsoring in numbers. Like Annette said, you want a quality team. So you want a team that is going to really put in numbers, but at the same time, you can't really judge that. So you don't really know who is going to be great and who's going to be not so great. So that is why I learned to live the lifestyle of just sponsoring and sharing. And I actually got that video off of YouTube, off Katie Farner. She did a really good breakout on that a year or so ago on the lifestyle of recruiting. And I think that once you learn and sit down and realize what you want out of the business, and if you really want to turn it, like Danette says, from a hobby into, a real life job, which is what it really is a job. And whether you say you do it part-time or full-time, it can turn into full-time. You really want to figure out what you want out of the business, and that's really going to let you figure out that sponsoring is really the answer. And it's not just about, oh, well, I'm going to sponsor and make all this money. No, they need to produce, and you want to produce leaders. You want to feed into them and pour into them and give them, that time to really help them with their business, especially the first 70 days. But at the same time, if you find that star and that diamond in the rough, they can be the ones to really launch your business. With me, my sponsor, Shannon Grant, was just at an event, and I walked up to her and I said, I want to join. And so she was at the right place at the right time, and she followed up with me. She followed up with me for 3 days, and I was not going to join. I was not going to do it because I wasn't a seller. I couldn't do it. Nobody wanted to buy. It wasn't going to happen, right? All those little lies we tell ourselves. And she was persistent, and she said, Chloe, you can do it. And so whenever my husband signed me up, that's when everything, happened. But sponsoring, really, it needs to be something that is always happening, and it's not just about a join special, but it's about you believe in the blessing, and that the income is immeasurable. I mean, that's the biggest thing I can say. There's no ceiling.
You know, I love listening to you guys talk on here too about sponsoring, and we have talked about it before. There's just a lot of power that goes into our brain and our self-talk. Don't ever underestimate the power of self-talk, because our brain is this muscle that does not know reality from imagination, and if you can prove it wrong or right, then that means you're self-talking in a positive way. We've all been through that zone where we felt like we weren't going anywhere, and I have to say, being at the top of the compensation plan has never been more challenging as a business owner than it is now, because now what? Who's going to motivate me? Who tells me what to do? Nobody tells me when to go to work. Nobody gives me these deadlines. Nobody tells me to submit a goal. I don't have any of that. So we get to be our own bosses, and we brag about that, and then all of a sudden it happens, you're all, oh my gosh, now what do I do when you run into those speed bumps? Because they really are speed bumps. They are not roadblocks. We get to chat ourselves up and think, why are we here? What's that why that makes us high? Not if and how and when, not if and how, but when are we going to go over that speed bump, around it, or through it? If that is a wall or a mountain that we're climbing, when you run into that, are you going to go around it, through it, or over it? Because there is no doubt you started the climbing gym to get over that, whatever that is. And kind of like what Chloe was saying, when you really know where you're going, you're going to make things happen. And when we don't, we're going to make excuses. So I have to share some things that I was in a rut. We've all been in funks. If you haven't, you're going to. It's just part of it. But like we said, we don't go out of business. We open our doors somehow, some way, connecting with our teams and with our customers, etc., however it can make us comfortable. So here's a book that I read that I loved, and it's called License to Dream, Every Woman's Guide to Financial Freedom Through Network Marketing. I love the analogies they gave. So I read books that I know are going to lift me and give me those ideals. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Oh my gosh, when you read this book too, you're going to go, oh wow, I'm worried about things I have no control of. Well, I'm going to be honest, and Kim can testify that, or verify, that I have a gift. I just do not worry about things I don't have any control over. I like to spend my energy on those and things that I do get to have some kind of voice or control over. If you haven't read Who Moved My Cheese, oy vey. Quick, look, it's teeny tiny. You can read it in one little sitting. Who Moved My Cheese is deluxe for those of us who want to be excuse busters, because that's what it's all about when you hit that. Here's another hipster cool one. Punch Fear in the Face. Ha! Have any of you read this one? So this one's called Start, and it's by John Acuff. Love, love, love that. Now, don't look up at the sky when you go, oh, okay, I hope you didn't just check out because you don't read. Get these on audio. My goodness. Ken and I just listened to a couple of different books on the way to and from Arizona. So when we do long trips, we will listen to an audio book. And you hear the saying, readers are leaders. Whether you're reading a blog or reading a little bit on Facebook every day, you're still reading. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be so hard on yourself. So now that we have a little idea how to push, and we talked about sponsoring and the verbiage, it's not just a flip it recruit number. Sponsoring is that commitment and dedication to help others get what they want, because that's how we get what we want. Here is our cow for 5th week. What? Feet 5, 5, 5. Week 5. We're all about pushing ourselves. Okay, so push yourself to finish those 100 no's. Push yourself and keep track of those no's. Your challenge is to connect somehow personally with 10 new people this week. Connect with them. You know how we just talked about it, how Ashton said she might just reach out to them and say, hey, happy birthday, hey, how's the child? Someone might have gotten in an accident, and you connect with them. And there's just so many ways to be real and personal, as if you're trying to make a friend, not a new team member. So your challenge is to get the contact information from 10 people, at least 10 people, and that is their phone number and or email, so you can enter in your contact info. And then you're going to set up some kind of team meeting, team social, team conference call, team webinar, or join your local team, what do you call it, Toastmasters. And the reason we say that is so you can push each other. We talked about these workout buddies. We talked about an accountability partner. So you want to do 1 or 2 of those, and you bet, reach out to your upline. You don't have to do it all by yourself. If you're a team of 1, well then get with your upline to do some kind of event or social, but you always, always, always want to invite potential new team members. And my favorite thing when we do our local team members is, hey, we say bring a friend or bring their friend or whatever, prizes for anyone who brings a guest, etc. Because how many of you have thought, oh, I haven't talked to my friend about joining? That's okay, because the chances are they're probably going to get all fired up accidentally. Of course, we always say bring prospects and somebody you've already chatted up the business with. But my point there is if you haven't, so what? Just invite a friend or somebody who you're an acquaintance with at work and say, hey, it'd be fun. Let's, if anything, just come and get some free snacks, whatever it is. But we want you to post on the Climbing Gym how you got your 10 contacts, a little bit about that, and how you connected with them, and what is your social that you're going to set up. If you can fulfill it within the week, like by next weekend, great, but the important thing is that you set up some kind of team event, or you join your local Toastmasters. Why would we have you do that? Because Toastmasters is all about getting out of your comfort zone to be in front of people. That's what leaders get to do. And once you knock one out of the park, you're going to go, dang, this is so simple. I want to do more. Sometimes it gets in your blood. Sometimes it doesn't. But it's all about being a leader. So we look forward to your push challenges for the week. We can't wait to move yourself up the Ascent Academy because it's fun seeing some of you already earn those amazing prizes. So looking for the cows for now. Ta-ta, chow. For now, brown cow. I used to say that when I was teaching.